Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. And not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Welcome back. I want to call this episode, at least the premise of it, is this is what's coming next for us here in the U.S. This is from Rebel News. Quebec Premier Legault, I believe it's pronounced, bans protesting outside hospitals. Now, John, come on. This is Canada. It's not the U.S. Well, you're going to see a video from Australia after this. And this is what's coming for us. As 25% of all police departments, including state and local police, are being threatened with termination if they don't take the vaccine. Here's the crazy part for me. My understanding was if you were fully vaccinated, you should have no issues with unvaxxed people. The vaccines are working. I understand over time they lose their potency. I get it. But there are also millions floating around in Canada as well as the U.S. that have gotten COVID that were younger. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, you're sick for a few days. But you have antibodies now. There's something going on here. I am not anti-vaccine. If you want to take the vaccine in consultation with your doctor or do your research yourself, by all means do so. If you're a grown adult, you have that right of choice. Interesting how the pro-vaxxers will say, or mandatory vaxxers is probably a better phrase. The vast majority of them, at least what I can tell, are pro-choice / pro-abortion. They're not the same thing. My body, my choice. And I find it interesting that the hypocrisy of it all when it comes to the vaccine. Now, let's read a little bit here. And this is what's coming for us if we're not careful. Francois Legault had just adopted Bill 105 concerning the prohibition of any event related to the pandemic within 50 meters of schools, daycares, health establishments, social services, including testing and vaccination clinics. The Premier of Quebec, Mr. Francois Legault, had just adopted a bill concerning the prohibition of any event related to 50 meters of schools, daycare establishment, health centers, and social services, including testing and vaccination clinics. Violators will be faced a $1,000 to $6,000 fine. Quite a leeway. Also, intimidation and threats against citizens who wish to have access to a test for COVID-19 in the same places should be liable for a fine. You shouldn't threaten or intimidate anybody if they want to get the shot. That's their choice. I don't go along with the mandate, but I might go along with a little harassment. In addition, all persons promoting or creating any such demonstration will be prohibited and liable to a fine, and the courts will be able to issue an injunction as soon as demonstration is announced. As soon as the demonstration is announced. That means you coordinate on social media, you send a bunch of emails to a bunch of people to coordinate a protest, the injunction goes in. What is that? What is it? I forget, what's the movie, Minority Report, where they stop crimes before they happen, or at least they prosecute crimes before they happen? It goes unanimously passed bill, unanimously passed. Nobody wants to be the one to say no. Reminds me, even though it is Star Wars and it is fiction, the scene where Queen Amidala says, "This is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause." And I always think of Nazi Germany when I hear that. Unbelievable. The only opposition was the Conservative Party, which is not a big surprise. It's unbelievable. It's renewable every 30 days by decree. By decree. Until the end of the state of a health emergency. In other words, we can do this for as long as we want to. Granted, this is not the United States. It's unbelievable. Banning demonstrations goes against the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. You don't give a crap about that. Does not seem to consider his draft laws a violation of rights because the latter specifies that a demonstrator is within their rights to demonstrate, but while being 50 meters from the establishment concerned. There are yet another restrictions that quietly closes on our rights and freedoms. If we still accept all these new laws, I wonder how far these politicians would go to prevent citizens' free speech. They already have. What was it? Jordan Peterson. It was just a well-known and well-respected professor, psychology at the University of Toronto. I mean, I shouldn't say nobody from nowhere because he was really well known in the academic circles as well as in Ontario. Very well respected. Human rights commissions with mandatory pronouns. That was the canary in the coal mine. That was long before COVID. Those of you that don't know, canary in the coal mine, the miners used to bring them in the old days, and there's some gases that are deadly that you can't smell, and if you see the canary dies, you know to get the heck out. Human Rights Commission, that's the canary in the coal mine. And slowly but surely, like a frog in the water, the heat gets turned up. And you adjust a little bit, and you adjust a little bit, and you adjust a little bit, and then it's too hot, and the frog dies. This is what's happening. When they asked, I've seen countless interviews with Holocaust survivors, and in interviews they said, why didn't you get out of Germany when you had the chance, when things are going badly? Why don't you just get the hell out? I know it's tough to leave everything behind, but it beats dying. Beats being in concentration camps, and they all said the same thing because it's true. It was done over a long period of time, slowly. This one law that we thought was discriminatory, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. We could work around it. Then the next law came, and then the next, and the next, and the next. And when they turned around, they're being dragged into cattle cars to be gassed and their bodies burned for the final solution, as they called it. Am I saying that these people here in Australia are going to do that? Of course not. That would be ignorant. But these are all British Commonwealth countries. The rock bed of fundamental rights in the court system and the justice system are all from old English common law. That's why at one time, until now, British Commonwealth countries, including the United States, even though we're not a Commonwealth country, we got a revolution, all laws were a foundation of British law. And look what's happening in Canada, Australia. They're completely ignoring it. Now, this is a video, I'm not sure what is in Australia, doesn't matter, of a gentleman out with his friend, lady friend, just out and about, maybe a couple of 100 yards from his house. Looks like a public park. And I didn't see the beginning of him when he got arrested, but they come on him quick. He didn't have a mask. He was having a cigarette. He was eating lunch with his friend. He took his mask off to have his cigarette. What was he supposed to do? And this is how the Australian police act.
Those girls. I literally am standing here eating my kebab. No, not all right. How are you meant to calm down when people are doing this?
No, we saw your friend up here earlier on. We've given permission to move on, and he's returned. So.
He lives 500 metres that way.
Yeah, we told
when
him
you guys
to return,
text that, it's going to be really awkward.
I'm not going to argue with you.
So what? Okay, can I ask what he's been arrested for? Watch me. Watch me what?
Let me come over here and I'll...
No, I'm fine here. Thank you. You can explain it here.
What's happened earlier on is we've seen your friend...
You've explained...
See, they don't like her filming. They don't like her showing them, and they know this is unlawful. It's morally wrong. They do it because they get paid. Seen several interviews with Australian police. We're doing this because we get paid. Interesting enough, that's probably what the guards at Auschwitz said.
That. It's not necessary.
And we've given a direction to move on.
I understand that.
Return.
Not returning his own. He lives a block away.
Yeah, but he has no.
So what do you mean?
He has no reason to be here. He doesn't have a valid reason.
He has no valid reason to be here. He can go where the hell he wants, just like the United States. Not anymore, though. Not if you live in major cities like New York. We've got to have a vaccine passport to get in, to go to a movie theater, to go to a grocery store. He has no business being here. It looks like an open public park. Unbelievable. Papers, please. Remember those old movies? Well, now it's a reality. And this is in Australia, which is exactly what I would call some backwards third world country. And neither is Canada. Look what's coming for us, folks. Look what's coming. And some of it is already here.
Out today. He wasn't wearing a face mask.
Hold on, he has a face mask in his pocket. He was just smoking a cigarette. He just came to get lunch with
You don't understand
me.
the whole picture anyway.
Oh, what do you mean? I've been living here this whole time. What do you mean?
Can you record this, please? You're currently under arrest for breaching the Chief Health Officer's directive.
The Chief Health Officer's directive. The Chief Health Big Brother. Chief Health Officer's directive. In a park with hardly anybody in it, he took off his mask to have his cigarette while his friend was having lunch. He's probably got tired of hanging around his house, needed some exercise and some fresh air. And as we all know, being outside in fresh air is actually good. It's much less likely to get COVID. This is what's going on, folks. It is coming to a city near you.
I live 200 metres up the road. We're all going for a walk. What do you mean? I've gone to meet my friends, which I told your friends
I
before.
literally have food in my
She's gone to
hand.
get a kebab and we're going for a walk. And the reason I didn't have a mask on because I was having a cigarette. I've got 2 masks in my pocket. Like, what else do you want me to do?
Pretty much. And
Do you want me to grab your mask out?
Oh, can you get...
What do you mean? No, it's all right. Like, if it's because he's not wearing it.
it's going to get you.
Okay, you don't need to touch me though, because if we're
I think these police realized they overreacted, obviously. And now that's the problem. They don't know what to do. If they say, you know what, maybe we overreacted, we saw the situation different from what it really was, they don't want to do that. Human beings don't want to admit they were wrong. So they'd rather go through all of this and do this to this poor man and threaten this woman than admit they were wrong.
meant to
You
be.
don't need to join in. I'm just going to get the
I'm
stand
not-
right here and don't move
no.
in, okay? Listen,
No.
my lawful directions are going to be for you to move on, otherwise you're
Listen,
going to
I
be
know
arrested
you
as
don't all
well.
want to do this.
We don't.
It's
don't get in.
fucking
Look how arrogant they are. I have power and control over you, and you are helpless.
horrible
It's
for
horrible for
everybody.
everyone. Don't get involved. You don't need
What
to
do you
be
mean? This is my
involved.
mate. I stand
I
in here.
understand.
You
but
don't.
I understand your concerns.
This is
Wayne, but you have no
horrible.
involvement.
No, I do. He's my friend. We're fucking walking through a park with food.
Take a couple steps back.
For what?
For breaching.
I'm for breaching what?
No, let me finish.
Go for it.
I'm trying to process an offender, and you're in the way of the police doing that.
I'm trying to process an offender. An offender to what? The only crime that he has is he's living. Unbelievable. But then again, it's not.
Stand there and continue to film. That's great. Happy days.
Sure. Well, excuse me. then.
We're filming as well, so.
Yeah,
Take your
great.
space. Take your space.
I've stood here the whole time.
So don't take a step forward. We've asked you to step back.
Hey, Brody, where are we going? Call for processing agreement. Well, can we go? Yeah, okay. Let's move. Right.
Where are you going? Because I'll come. I'm sorry, I don't trust this. It's
Yeah, she doesn't trust him, and rightfully so. This is insane, but this is what's going on. And that's why they have rules now where you can't have drones anywhere, or there's no fly zones over protests in Australia, Melbourne, and the bigger cities. They don't want the world to see. And those of you that watch CNN, MSNBC, and all the other progressive stations that are now branches of the Democrat Party, you won't see any of these things. You won't see the protests. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people protesting all over the world. They won't show them. They won't do it because this, folks, is coming to a city near you. Make no mistake about it. And this is United States, an incredibly unique and special place. It's already started. What are you going to do about it? Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.